5, 4. This is Farming with Peacocks, where we're breaking it down.
The good.
The bad. All right.
Yeah.
First topic of the day, baby.
First topic of the day, I'm feeling pretty proud of myself because I just MacGyvered some dental floss off of my snow bibs and managed to wedge it between my teeth, and I feel really good. So.
And she got rid of this pesky... What was it? Did you look at it? Did you examine?
No, I don't. I mean, it had to have been a... Oh, it's elderberry seed.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Because
so
last
night
I made elderberry syrup because we are so sick. The kids are in school and they're just like disease. I mean, not us, the adults, but the children. The children are just like cesspools of. It's like we live with patient zero.
Okay, well,
you don't think?
I don't think they're that sick. Actually, they're not that sick at all. They have some runny noses.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, in my opinion, our beautiful daughter, I think she has suffers from postnasal drip more than anybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
So when she has a runny nose, she coughs a lot more. It irritates her throat a lot more because of the shape of her throat. That happens with some people. They just have an unfortunate shape of throat and they get a runny nose and the whole household is in disarray. Does anyone else have that problem?
Let's clarify. Not the whole household, because Matthew sleeps through it. So it's just me. Anyway. So, yeah, we're so sick because I'm deeply affected by this sickness. So I made elderberry syrup, and we are about to become, like, next level immunity building.
Now, we've heard this before here at the farm, but we'll see how this one takes. So
What else
we'll
have
give
we
you
done?
an update. Oh, I'm sure there's a laundry list of herbal medicine.
So, I believe. I believe in the power
She usually
of herbs.
does. Anyway.
It's almost, I mean, there were like two or three studies with like 60
what's next?
people where it was more.
We have sick people at the farm. We're trying to cure it with elderberry.
Placebo.
Yeah.
What's next?
Kidding season
Kidding season
is happening.
Yeah, we have newborn or moms come onto the farm and give birth to their 9-month-old. I mean, the kids is just another name for goat babies.
We're not a midwife clinic for humans.
No,
Please don't
we're
come
not.
here with your tub of water to give birth.
Technically, kidding season already started.
Yep, we had a goat who miscarried. We've been milking her twice a day, trying to get her milk to come in. But today, what happened?
She's already breeding again.
She's in heat.
Wow.
So that problem solved
So
itself.
she had a miscarriage like a week ago.
Yeah, and the baby was it didn't even have fur. It looked like a baby goat, but it had no fur, so it was premature.
Yeah.
Did we live stream that one too, or?
No, we found it in the
I'm
barn.
kidding.
Oh,
But
we weren't there for the birth.
so that means she'll give birth in what? In 6 months?
145 days.
145 days on the dot.
So that'll be, yep.
So-
Everybody mark this day. See you in
So,
145 days.
This is. You try not to keep score as husbands and wives. You try not to
No,
keep
you just
score.
don't. You just don't keep score.
But
But
check tally.
yeah, but you
I won
end
this
up-
one because this is exactly what I said. I said we should just breed her again. She's gonna want to start to breed because I've had this exact thing happen where we had a goat that gave birth in August, and then like a week later, it was ready. It was in heat again, and Rachel said, "No, it's too late in the season. There's no way this goat is gonna go into heat."
Yeah, I'm surprised. Dairy goats normally come into heat August through January. Very, very rarely do they go through February into heat. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I am happy to
I've seen
defer
it happen more than once.
to your wisdom on this one. So
It's happened many
Neela
times,
is
actually.
currently in with all 4 bucks.
having the time of her life.
Yeah, the biggest buck has decided that they're best friends. I think they must have a relationship already. And he's making sure none of the other bucks harass her. So we feel good about that. So kidding season is happening. The time of barn checks every couple hours. Cameras in there watching. Isadora, our daughter, went and I said, what do you hear down there? She said, there's a lot of moaning going on because they're all big and they're pregnant and they're uncomfortable and
Did we get the Arlo cameras down there?
they're charging still. We'll have them up by tonight.
Okay. I think it'd be so cool to try and live stream some of that.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. We could. I'm looking at Leo because he's our tech guy. I don't know how that would work.
We'd have to look it up on the internet.
Oh, we'd have to use.
Anyways,
the Googles.
I think people would love it if we could live stream some goat.
Just
action.
the barns. You know what? People could
Yeah.
help us keep track of them, like who's
Yeah.
in labor.
You could do like a GoPro and like throw it on Wi-Fi and watch.
Well, the
Yeah.
Arlo's already on Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. I just don't know the quality of the Arlo.
It's
pretty
really
good.
good.
Oh, then yeah,
Yeah.
use that.
So, Leo,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about kidding season? What's your
I mean, I'm
most
fine with it.
What's your most traumatic kidding season moment?
I wouldn't call it traumatic. It's memorable. I don't think it traumatized me. I never think about it and am worried about it. But I think, let's see, 2 years ago.
You had just moved here, right?
Oh, was
It
it?
was your first kidding season, I think.
Yeah. So 3 years ago then.
I like how I know what you're gonna say because
I don't know. Linnea was here.
Yeah.
Though.
she was. She's always usually here for kidding season, though. She loves
She
this time
was
of
here
year.
the first year. Anyway, Linnea is Rachel's mom.
Who's
and,
becoming like the unsung hero of this podcast? We
Yeah.
just talk about her shenanigans.
And she was she the one that woke me up?
I came to your door.
Oh, you knocked. Someone knocked on my door in the middle of the night, and it's kidding season. Listen, I'm not a nurse really,
What the
and
heck's
at that
Leo
time
gonna do is
barely
what he's saying.
barely a farmer. Like I'm just a guy that like
Yeah.
plays video games and tries to
Linnea's
shoot
mindset.
films.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, and
Everybody around here, we get on down.
so imagine me, incompetent in the ways of helping anybody give birth in any capacity ever, getting a knock on their door at midnight in a dead sleep and being like, "We need everyone over here. Come on down." I'm like, what is happening? I never got the memo to like that this was a possibility at this farm at all. So I'm just like a good soldier, I guess. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I have to get dressed for some reason. And I'm running and I'm walking down there, and this like goat is having complications in her birthing, and someone like she's having a really hard time pushing out her babies. And so I'm, given the quest to hold her down as my brother reaches in to try to grab the babies inside her and pull them out. And then my brother kind of wimps out, so that made me feel good. And then Linnea steps up to the plate, real boss lady, and just pulls both of them out. Meanwhile, if it was a movie and you like cut away to like Linnea's face, how she pulls it out, she'd be like the hero. And then it would like cut back to my face, and I'd be the comic relief where I'm just like, oh my God, I can't handle this. Anyway, I would have let that goat die, and I wouldn't have wanted to, but I couldn't have saved it. So I'm very glad that they were there. But let's be honest, I didn't need to be there. So really, I blame them.
Well, and here's
but
what
it
It
was
was
a good moment.
traumatizing, but I let.
It was a good moment,
Hey,
though.
I
liked
did
it.
pull one goat out, by the way. We still have that goat.
Yeah, she's had a lot.
So I just pulled one
Yeah,
out. I
yeah.
didn't do the other ones.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had to pull the first one out, but I think Linnea said, "You have the smallest hands here."
She's to the point.
Anyways.
She's to the point.
That's funny. Which is, I mean, you and I do have the same size hands.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need to measure them on camera. Let's
I do have the same size hands. as
So
well,
I
please.
think
same
what
size a lot.
what you don't know if you've never been there to assist a goat for a birth is a lot of times the goat is in distress and
Screaming.
screaming in your ear. So you were laying on the ground with
Yeah.
this goat laying on top of you, and you were holding her, and so her
Yeah.
face was leaning back and just yelling into
Yeah.
your face, which
She was letting me know
I mean
that she was not enjoying her.
could
Yeah.
shake you.
Okay, it's also the difference between two women who are like, I don't get it, and I probably
Yeah.
never
Oh,
will.
I have a good story.
But women love birth.
yeah.
They just like a lot of
Oh, do
women love birth. Yeah, Rachel loves birth. Isadora loves
Oh,
So
birth.
the women in
Linnea
your
loves birth.
world,
The women that I know love birth. And for me, it's just like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't care if I see 0 births this year. Like, I don't want to see the births. I don't enjoy
Did you
the
like
births.
seeing the birth of your human son?
Yeah.
No.
It was awesome.
Did you see his
Yeah.
I'm
Anytime
glad
Matt's
that it's
face goes
over.
from normal to like animated and like overly happy, you're like, Your eyes squint.
Sketchy. They squint even
Yeah.
more.
You
I
go-
get like the super
Yeah, you're like,
Asian squint.
I don't buy it. Are you gonna tell the story about the chewing and
Yeah,
the eating?
I was.
That's
So,
the one.
Okay, so wait. I think this works out really well because it kind of step. That's how much Leo cares about the kids. That's his. He already said he would have let that goat die.
I had a
I'm
caveat
just
that
saying.
I wouldn't have been able to do
Yeah,
that. Is
yeah,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get
if
it.
you guys need me, I'll be there.
Right.
I'm just saying I'm not
It
that
forced-
helpful.
You stepped
So
out of your
that's-
comfort zone.
Yeah, I didn't know I was.
Which is
I was just
fine.
stepping out into
Leo's
the middle of the
not
night.
a farmer. He wants to be in film. He's not trying to like be a rancher or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
but see,
next
but I
step-
think the point is you had never pushed yourself in
But-
a capacity like that before.
But he never wants.
I didn't.
To.
No,
not his
listen,
goal.
listen. I liked the experience.
Yeah.
I was not traumatized by it whatsoever.
Yeah.
I never look back at that as a negative experience. I'm happy to have had it.
You just never would have jumped there immediately.
I just have a weak stomach. Like, I think if I got used to it, I would get
Yeah.
used to it. But,
Yeah.
I don't see that. I mean, my mom gave birth to a Laura, and that was okay.
Were you there for that?
Yeah, it was a home birth. And, I just remember Robert pacing the whole time,
And
my sister's
How
dad.
old were you? You were
6.
sick. Yeah, that's memorable.
But it was a pretty good birth, I feel like. It was chill. But that was intense. That was like, you wake someone
Yeah, it was a
in the
breech
middle
birth.
of the night.
Yeah.
You're like confused. I'm barely awake. I'm like, what's happening? Is this a nightmare? What's happening?
Yes.
But,
yes,
what I was-
Matthew,
but what I
yeah,
was
what are
gonna-
you saying?
What I was gonna say is like, okay, so that's like, this is our farm hand. That's his level of compassion and love for the goats. Just bear
Why
with
do you
me.
have to say it like
Yeah.
that?
Just
You
shut
always
up.
have to
It's
say
so
it like it's condescending. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Just shut up for a second.
his level 0.
No, that's a lot of love.
Leo's down
That's
here.
more love than I have for my neighbor's goats.
Yeah.
You couldn't wake me up to go over there.
Yeah.
At least
Llamas
I wouldn't
or
want to.
alpacas.
Actually, I probably would, but I wouldn't want to, and I'd
All right, get to the
begrudgingly do it.
You
So
can wake me up.
the next thing is me. This is the next level of love and compassion.
Oh.
Rachel will be the highest level of love and compassion.
Beep, beep.
Now do you get it? So
Now do you get it?
Son of a-
anyways, every time people like, it's so annoying because girls have this sixth sense with birth and stuff. At least
It's
girls.
so
and-
annoying that girls have
and so,
uteruses
like, that
and vaginas.
it's always
I-
They're
like-
more
I
empathetic towards
hate that
other
about
women.
they're always
girls.
like watching the goats and like there's something going fish. There's something fishy. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Why
I'm
do,
like,
why
what
do
you
women
mean?
have like
Listen,
South
just
Boston?
Shush. Listen. Just bear with me, okay?
I don't like it. What's going
That's
on?
just their friggin' character attitude when they see something amiss, awry.
like a 50s.
And then they come up to me and they tell me like I'm supposed to solve it all of a sudden. Like bring in the man to
Because-
solve
no,
the big
not
problems.
the
It's like what am I
man.
supposed to do?
You're the nurse, and so
Yeah,
for the
I'm
past
an
couple
ER
of
nurse.
seasons,
I'm definitely not an OB. I'm not a mother baby nurse for a reason.
Well, and here's what I think. It took Mom and I a while to figure out. We see you as the medical professional on the farm. You are not the medical professional when it comes to kidding season. You may be when it comes to stitches and
Everything else.
killing things and all of those things. But you are we come to you, or we did
Still do
this time.
But what I'm trying to say
Well,
is
not
like,
anymore.
okay, I've had some crazy kidding ones. That was the worst one, the one with Leo.
Yeah.
And that was intense because it was the first time I had to reach into a goat, and I didn't know how to do it, and I pulled that goat out all wrong. Like I just like yanked it out as hard as I could, and it survived without any broken bones, but its neck was like bent back, and I just like pulled it out of the poor goat like that. We still have that goat. It's a really great goat. Anyways, that was traumatic, but then I had another goat where I ended up pulling 2 goats out of that goat. That goat ended up dying because it had an infection, not related to me. It already had an infection. And both of those things were really traumatic. But the most traumatic birthing season for me was our first kidding season because we had a small barn. We were not prepared. I didn't even know what it was to own goats. I had no idea. I was completely in the dark, and it just so happened that the barn that we had was like periodically being flooded, and we had to like dig it out and put more stuff in there. It was a disaster our first season, kidding, and that was definitely the most traumatic. We had the most stillbirths, we had the most problems, we had the most moms die. It was just a really rough season, and it's been pretty good ever since then. It's gotten better and better. But the most I have done is just go in and take babies out, and that takes a lot for a man to do that. I think that boys who are raised on farms are like my son. I hope he does it without us batting an eye. For me, it is a challenge, and to me, it's an act of love for goats because you couldn't pay me to do that. You know, I would not want to do that. So Rachael has brought it up even a higher notch. I don't even know if I love humans this much.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we were.
So who are you with? Set the scene.
I was with Mackenzie.
You're with Mackenzie. That was it. Just Mackenzie.
Yeah,
right?
you and Leo were actually on your way. Or you were at the Crystalia stand-up show.
Mackenzie was
we
our
were on
friend.
our way.
Seattle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Mackenzie was an Evergreen student who lived here. Amazing human. I actually
Training to be a vet.
Training to be a vet. Loves everything about animals.
She's a bad ass.
Yeah, super. Yeah, she's the type of person that you're like, hey, I know you've never done this before, but can you like
Wing it with me.
wing it with me? And she's like, yeah, let's wing it. And
Let's do
so those are my favorite types of people.
Yeah.
She never
They're just like you.
she never once was like, ooh, I don't know. Like she was always came from a place of yes. Anyway,
Especially with animals, because that's like her love.
especially with animals. Well, yeah. I mean, I never asked her to do anything outside of.
No, but I'm just
I know
saying,
she
like that's
would
her
have.
love is to help and work with animals and learn about
That's her
animals.
passion.
Yeah.
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 So what happened?
So I actually don't even remember. How did we get
Which goat was it?
out there? I don't. Oh, it was Matthew's favorite goat.
It
So
was Dory.
Dory. So
Yeah.
Matthew's favorite goat was in labor and was having like a hard time. She just was pushing and pushing, and it just was not
But she
happening
got
for
the
her.
goat out,
She got the goat out.
but it's still connected.
No. And then she was still pushing. And so Matthew was talking about how you have this like sixth that women, because of our uteruses,
Yeah.
we have these like sixth senses, which by the way, I don't think that's true. I think anyone could have this. who
Well, but
pays
you guys
attention.
are probably more cognizant of other.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Maybe we just
Well, because you guys
Paramore.
give birth and you guys have those same reproductive organs, you're probably more like keyed into when someone
Yeah.
else is going through something. Like a
Maybe.
guy's more keyed into like if a little kid's gonna hit me in the nuts, I can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
Like I can relate to other guys, be like, yeah, cover your nuts, you know.
Yeah.
But like a girl's gonna be more related to like whatever goes on there.
gosh, I kind of feel like I'm having like a moment because I wonder if that is a guy thing.
Do you think about that?
Getting hit in the nuts? No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
We don't
not.
think about giving birth.
It's
Yeah.
it's the equipment. We have
Yeah.
you have that equipment.
Yeah.
I don't have that equipment.
But when goats are in labor, you think that equips us better to be
Possibly.
tight.
Tell your story, though.
So
It's a really good
am.
story.
Okay, so I had this sense like something was not right. She was still pushing. She was still contracting. You can tell when a goat contracts because you can actually watch the waves like work down their body, and
they push. They're like,
and they're pushing. They're and like same. I have been there.
Sure.
So
Me too.
I mean, it's something different.
Well, yeah.
So Mackenzie and I get it to a point where I see something like starting to come out, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I will just help it because I have pulled a lot of babies. And so I go and I reach and I pull and I start pulling, and it doesn't feel like a normal baby. Like their legs feel very similar, and it just felt weird. So I pull it and I start pulling, and the way you pull with a goat is when she pushes, you just help. You never like rip something
Yeah,
out.
okay.
You work with their, just in case
like, as
anyone's
they
about to go
push,
into
you're
kidding season
pulling.
here. Yeah, and then you pause and then you
Yeah.
wait. Like you're not just like "Where?" Because
Yeah.
what can happen is you can rip. They're still attached to that uterine wall, and if you pull, you can rip and the goat will bleed
Oof.
to death, which is when you go in a goat, just like pro farmer tip, you make sure kidding season, make sure your nails are really short, and you always have to be super careful about scraping those walls because again, they can bleed and die. So
gloves are good if you can.
yeah, gloves
a
are
lot
super
of people
good.
won't use them.
Like
though, 'cause then
latex?
It's hard because you can't feel as
Yeah,
much.
well, and it makes them slippery. So
Yeah.
what we do is we have a towel. So I always wear gloves, but then I have a towel too. So once it's out of their body, I wrap a towel and then it gives better pulling. Because ideally you're pulling legs out first and then going.
The back legs or the front legs?
No, the front.
The back legs.
So yeah, the baby goats come
the
out
front.
with their little ideally. I mean, if this is happening, you're not pulling, but they should come out with their little head like resting on their legs. It's super cute. Anyway, so I pull, and then it comes out, and it's like off. Like something just like looks off. You've seen Alien?
Mhm.
So it was a lot like that little first Alien thing with like the giant head and then like a spinal column. And
Yeah.
Mackenzie and I are just like, what is this? So we start like kind of like, okay, well, what do we do? She's done pushing at this point. Like she's so tired. And I'm like, okay, well, it's fully out. All that's happening is it's hanging by this like sinewy material,
Yeah.
this thing, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's about the
It
size of
wasn't
like
an umbilical cord.
a rolling pin. It was just sinewiness. I don't know if it was umbilical cord, but the thing is a very, very young fetus. It's not a baby
It
goat.
was dead.
It was never. I mean, yes, it was alive.
Yeah, it wasn't going to
It
survive.
was never going to survive. It was basically
Underdeveloped
a
fetus.
spinal column.
The other one
and a
was
head.
okay though, right?
Other
yeah,
baby,
because we still have it.
Yeah, we have her. We have her other baby. This one. So what must have happened is she got bred again after already being bred, and this baby was just done. It wasn't. I mean, it was never going to make it. So Mackenzie and I are like, well, what do we do? And of course, we didn't have scissors because you just don't.
Sure.
We just didn't have scissors. So I'm like, okay, well, we cannot pull it because, again, you can pull off the wall. So I was like, okay,
Well, it was sucking it back in.
that's what. So then
But
I was
also
like,
remember, earlier you said you're kind of hungry.
I was like, oh, I didn't eat dinner. So Mackenzie, this whole time, is holding Dory.
Yeah.
Like, Dory is not into it. She's not like, okay, you're helping me.
Does she
I'm
have
gonna
another one
stay.
in her or no?
No, well, I don't know at that point.
Oh,
But
okay.
So Mackenzie is already focused on holding Dory, who's a big goat. She's a big girl. So Mackenzie's fully focused. I'm focused on this fetus. And so, like, none of us can go and run and get scissors. And then Dory, for whatever reason, the thing starts getting sucked back in. And we see it
Like the
happening.
fetus.
The fetus, the
Oof.
spinal column. It starts
like
just
Alien.
like, yes, exactly like Alien. And I'm like, oh my God, Mackenzie, it's going back in. And she's like, what are we going to do? And I was like, okay, we have to get it off.
Bling! It's like a light
And I
bulb
was
just
like,
pops over
yeah,
her head.
totally. Like my light bulb went off and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And she was like, what are you going to do? And I open my mouth and I take it up to her. Are they
like this
vagina?
is her butt.
Yeah,
They're
vagina.
like-
That you're like,
And I pressed.
like if this was her body, it'd be
I pressed my cheek up against her body,
her vagina.
her vagina. It's not the vulva, right? It's the vagina. Are they the same
I
thing?
mean,
Whatever.
the point gets across.
Okay, so I press my cheek up against it, and I just start gnawing on the sinewy material. And Mackenzie is like, "What is happening?
That would traumatize me.
Mackenzie's like,
No, Mackenzie was just big-eyed, and then
she was like,
afterwards-
"What is happening? What? Oh, you're doing it.
Whoa.
Oh, this is happening. This is happening."
My mind would be
and
just.
I'm just like gnawing, and I had to like. You can't use your front teeth because your front teeth aren't very sharp. So I'm like a hunter-gatherer Neanderthal. So
You're
I
going
go
to
in my
town.
back teeth, but then you have to like really press your face up
Yeah.
against the fleshiness. So I'm gnawing,
Yeah.
and then it falls off.
Nice.
And then almost like immediately Dory like sucks that last
Little
little
piece.
bit and it was like and it was all done. And I was
Wow.
like,
You saved
oh
our best milking
my
goat.
God.
Yeah.
And not only our
Because it
best
would have
milking
sucked in
goat,
all that stuff.
your favorite goat.
Boom.
Thank you.
So this
So-
is like, it was
so
like an
love-
act of love.
A love
Yeah.
note to your husband
Yeah.
and a love note to your herd. And
Yeah.
what did Mackenzie say when you were done with that?
She was like, oh, you really love your goats.
So that's the next level of love, people.
And she was full after that.
I wasn't hungry anymore.
But she did have to floss her teeth.
I made her brush like for 2 weeks before I made out with her again. But
So you guys are at the Chris D'Elia concert.
Having a blast,
and I
by the way.
sent you a photo.
Yeah, well, we
I'm a
could
little
share it, but it's
alien
probably,
baby.
it's a little graphic.
Yeah, so just imagine like a little baby alien, the spinal column and the head, and just like a rolling pin size.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my most traumatic.
We get a
kidding
text that
experience.
just says, like, oh, I took a bite out of this. And then the picture of just guts and nastiness coming out. And, like, me and Matt are just like,
it was.
I'll never be
It
that
is
much
so
of a
funny.
man or a woman.
Yeah, we
to
were
ever do
blown
that.
away.
Yeah, like,
In the best way. I was very proud of my wife.
anyway.
Look, when push comes to shove and the zombie apocalypse comes,
Yeah, you'll rip into a uterus.
who do you want on your team?
Yeah, Rachel
Yeah.
will have no problem.
I mean, I want
biting
Joe
you.
Rogan, but you're a close second.
Really?
Yeah, Joe.
You're gonna choose him over me?
Okay, never mind.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, because you can't have sex with him.
No, that's not what it's
You can-
about. It's
you can
about
totally
who's gonna,
have
who
the
can fight
dookie
for
with a
you.
man.
I know,
Yeah.
but you would prefer me.
Yeah. But who? Have you met Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I love his podcast.
He knows how to survive. Anyway,
Okay,
I mean,
well
he's
then
not-
if we're doing
listen,
that, then I
how
want.
often is biting into a uterus gonna be the thing that saves us from life or death?
Okay, well,
Well,
then-
she's a diehard. That's what she's trying to
No,
say.
I get it, but let's be real.
and on that note, I was thinking the other day, should we put it in our 5-year plan to bury a shipping container that we like a bug out?
No,
You shouldn't discuss it on the podcast.
definitely not.
You don't think about that at
You don't
all.
discuss secret bases on public forums. What if people come here looking for your shipping container?
Yeah, but I was having conversations last night
In my
about
head, I'm like,
different like height bug outs that people have, and
There's crazy ones.
yeah.
my big thing. Do you have a recurring thought about the apocalypse? I do.
Not
okay.
even a little.
So my thing that I always worry about is that I'm gonna have to climb a tree or a pole or a rope
Yeah.
with my kids on my back. And so every like physical thing that I do with my life, I like to think of it as training for that ability.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when push comes to shove and the apocalypse does come around,
Yeah.
climbing a rope is going to be one of those skills that sets people apart.
I think shooting guns accurately and having lots of guns will be the number one.
That's not going to be hard. Where our country is like.
How good are
there's
you at
guns.
shooting guns? You're good at shooting
Yeah,
guns.
I'm an expert in the
When's the last time you
M9.
shot guns?
I mean, when I was in the military.
The
Okay,
thing
so I
is,
thought-
who's gonna shoot a cheesemaker?
Everybody.
Well,
Anybody.
Yeah, because they
when-
want cheese. They want cheese.
Bro,
So if they shoot me, it's no more cheese.
bro, without electricity, you ain't making no more cheese, fool. Like, I'm just saying,
Oh.
if it really comes down
Well, we
to
do
it.
have solar panels.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and we could
let's
just
be
go
real.
old world style. You make it when it comes right out of the goat because it's the right temp.
Yeah, but I'm saying the marauders that come through
Yeah,
here
they won't be
are murking
forward-thinking
everybody.
enough.
They're not going to be like, oh, yes, we'll make a deal.
Yes.
On the first day of each month,
We
you shall
shall
distribute a tribute to me.
That's exactly what's gonna be happening.
That's kind of how Walking Dead was in like
Yeah.
season 8 and
No,
9.
you're gonna if there's farmers around, you're not gonna want to kill the farmers. You're gonna
you're
want the
But
forward
farmers
I'm,
to
thinking.
but I'm
farm.
saying like the types of people, like the Mad Max people that are in the apocalypse in my head, because it's way cooler if
Yeah.
it's like that. They're not gonna care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to be like Mel Gibson, which
Yeah.
unfortunately his wife gets murdered. But I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a lone soldier, so he doesn't have to worry about anyone. The problem is when you have to worry about families.
I know.
Because there's a lot of like people who won't be.
Yeah.
It'll be like the outcasts
Yeah.
band together. Anyway,
Next.
next subject: the apocalypse.
So, Matthew, how do you feel about drowning in repairs?
This is the thing that Rachel told me not to bring up. She hated this topic. Just
Well,
so
you
everybody
wrote it
knows.
down
Well,
on the
how about
note.
we'll call this?
So,
Let's see, we'll time it. 5 unfiltered minutes with Matt complaining about repairs.
because really, that's all wants to do.
And that's really mostly what he does.
Okay, so no, the whole point of this is how do you deal with the feeling of drowning in the need for
Whoa, is
repairs
there
around
two
your
D's
farm?
in
Yeah, I don't
drowning?
think there's that extra D.
Drowning.
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 Ding.
All the way to down.
Whatever. Okay, yeah, whatever. Kind of like some people say spaghetti.
Nobody says
No way.
spaghetti.
Maybe a 4-year-old? Spaghetti?
All right, so
Spaghetti.
Nobody
Maybe
says
Italians say that.
that. Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Oh, I wish we could grow some spaghetti pasta.
Anyway, what?
Or some
What do you want to
squash.
complain about?
okay, so there's a lot of moving parts, and the more moving parts you have on a farm, the more likely that you're gonna have things that break. And there's so many things. Like every time I walk around my farm, I used to constantly be like, "Oh, that needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix that." And now I walk around, and I'm like, I'm never gonna have one of those farms where there's like maintenance issues everywhere you look. And oh, lo and behold, I have one of those farms, and it's because you
Wait,
can't.
why,
I
when
can't
did you
fix
have that
everything.
thought that you weren't going to have one of those farms?
When I first started farming with you.
When he
Oh.
was a naive young
When he
young
was
Yeah, I was
young.
like,
man.
all my
You're a
gates are
young
gonna
buck.
shut perfectly. There's not gonna be any issues with any of my gates.
The roads are
Everything's
gonna be
work
paved.
right. Yeah, like everything's gonna be. There's never gonna be potholes. Guess what? We have potholes. We have gates that are constantly in disrepair that I'm having to
because
fix.
people keep running into them with tractors.
Well, whatever the reason. Where's our tractor? Speaking of tractors, where's our tractor right now?
Getting repaired.
Yeah, and where's the how's the tent that we made for the tractor holding up?
Falling down.
Did you go look at it? It's
Yeah,
falling
no, I
down.
saw it. Oh,
Yeah, what about that barn up there that the goats are underneath right now?
Okay, what's
Did you see-
the point?
So
What's the point? There's a
point
lot of stuff
is-
not working.
Yeah. A lot of stuff.
Okay.
So my point is, how do you deal with that as a farmer? And the way I deal with that is avoidance.
Okay.
Look the other way. Pretend it's not there. Because I don't have the time to deal with it. So you have to make a list, prioritize, do the most important things first, and move on with your life, and do not let it get you down. Because, and in general, farms and any businesses, small businesses especially, or any businesses where you don't have the capital to say, you fix this, you fix that, you fix that. And like, we just don't have that kind of profit margin where we have that much extra cash flow that we can hire someone for $50 an hour to come in and do that stuff. So it makes it so I have to fix it.
so
My
there's-
wife can actually fix some things too.
Yeah, what
but
did
the
I do
point
yesterday
is-
while you were at work?
But the point is just to remember, folks, that this isn't the point of life isn't to have the best running farm on the planet. For me, the point of life is to enjoy yourself. The point of life is to take in every moment, live in the now. As hokey as it sounds, it's true. Like this is just a part of the game that I'm engaged in. But the real point is to experience love with
Yeah.
your family, with your farm animals, with your, to enjoy yourself and just to do the best you can as far as the repairs are concerned.
Is this a mindset you're going to adopt from this point forward? Or is this a goal mindset?
Or is this just a fluff
Or is
piece?
this just a because this is not how you actually are.
This is like
Okay, so
you're
don't
like the Tony
Is this-
Robbins of selling
Okay,
farm life.
so the
right
things
now.
that I
For
fix,
himself.
just so you know, the things that I fix are the things that I need to fix. Absolutely, 100% need to fix
So
right now.
what's a problem you fixed this week?
Oh, I had one. The new feeders that we put in, I couldn't drill them right because we didn't have the right drill bit, and today I drilled it in right because it was sagging. Now it's no longer sagging. It's in the right place. It has a through bolt through it. It's good as it's golden. It didn't take that long, and it's fixed.
What's a problem that fixed itself?
Neela was a problem that fixed herself.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I think one thing that you said when
That's
we
the
were
goat that
doing
rebred herself.
the when we were doing the the little documentary and I was doing interviews with you guys, Matt said, you talked about like a farmer who told you that every day, you know, like you're never going to catch up as a farmer. Like you just have to take each day as it comes. And I think that's the thing is like, this guy right here is not always loving life when it comes to things annoying him.
Who, me?
And,
Me?
and
What
that,
are you talking about?
And that's fine. And being a farmer, I think, for Matt, for sure, and everybody, is just being able to like roll with those moments and to complain and bitch about them. I mean, Matt complains sometimes, but it's in good fun, and sometimes it's nice to complain. It's fun to complain. It gets it off your chest.
Sometimes that's all you got.
Yeah, so it's that's a part of being a farmer is just being able to like be okay that shit goes, you know, stuff goes wrong, and you know, it's okay to be frustrated and annoyed at things, and also there's a lot of cool things that come from it, you know. And so I think it's good to be able to roll with all the punches and be okay with it being annoying and frustrating, because especially this time you guys are trying to, you know, you're trying to get up to that threshold before everything tips over into like there's no extra time to do all this extra fixing and getting ready for stuff, because you have to like make all the cheese and work and milk all the goats, and like everything has to be in a row, you know. So it is kind of a stressful push, and it's kidding season.
Yeah.
So, or it's about to be on the...
It's definitely the hardest time of year for me, and I think I've mentioned that before in former podcasts.
Yeah, but
actually,
I mean,
it's the hardest time of year for everybody.
But sometimes doesn't it feel like it's kind of always the hardest time in the year
Yeah,
for
I
you?
was going to say, what do you mean?
Hell no!
Wait,
Hell
so-
no! You know why? Because I've known that these last 2 months, I'm like, these last 2 months have been pretty great.
Yeah.
I haven't had to milk every morning.
Yeah.
It's been really nice.
Yeah.
I've been definitely enjoying it. So,
yeah.
No, this kidding season is really hard.
Yeah.
It's just a hard time of year. It's hard for Rachel. It's hard for me. We're
For
trying.
sure.
We're probably gonna get some help. Yeah, I'm thinking about how we could utilize a person in addition.
We like to call them
Leo.
minions on the farm.
Yes.
Our peons.
Or
serfs.
Yeah, serfs is a good one.
A lot of Age of Empires. You know what serfs are. What's next?
So I saw this article the other day that your mom actually shared.
Nice.
Where there's now 200 bison roaming in the Indiana prairie.
Yeah.
So cool.
Did you read it?
I did. Like, I don't read.
She
like,
just read the headline of the
Okay,
article.
Okay,
Did you
well,
read
you
it?
just shared an
What if
article
she
with
just-
me that
what
you
if-
didn't
what,
read.
what if Rachel's thing was she just like brought on articles that she only read the headline of, and she just
does-
wanted us to like pontificate about
No,
what
that's
it
exactly
might,
how she is.
what it
Do you
might
know-
She wants
be.
me to read things and summarize them because she can't stand the
She
amount
wants-
of detail.
So you're her human spark notes,
He
pretty
is.
much.
Oh my gosh, you are. Yeah.
She like, can you just read it and tell me about it?
Yeah.
That's what she
She-
wants from me.
No, you know what? I just really love listening to you.
Thank you.
I
Sometimes.
really-
Sometimes.
and that's lucky because Matt likes to talk, so
Okay, I don't always
that's
like
good
to talk,
for
but
Yeah.
that's good that Rachel likes to listen.
So that
she
happened.
does not like instructions
Oh yeah.
to be given to her.
No.
Well, here's the thing about instructions from Matt,
Yeah.
right?
I'm just like Lonnie.
If there's you are, dude. When you gave me instructions one time, he will like if you have to like. Let's say you have to go you have to go through the door and you have to take a left, and by the tree you have to open the chest. Okay, that's a normal direction. For Matt, he'll be like, so you have to go through the door, take a couple steps, look out, look at your surroundings,
that
make sure
tree.
everything's normal. Okay, then look to the left. There should be a little post, and around the post is a little hedge bush, and then over there is a tree. Now go to the tree, not right up to the tree. And it's like,
And if you've
bro,
gone, if
you
you've gone
just
to the
say
tree,
the thing that you want us to do.
and then if you've gone to the tree, that's exactly what I don't want you to do. Turn back around because you messed up.
He puts that stuff in.
And then restart it and go back to that fucking tree and get what I told you to get. Now stop being a moron and follow my 28 steps of directions.
So many steps. I mean, and in
Micro
some things
steps.
it's helpful because,
Sometimes it's important,
like the milking instructions
milking's
for how to
important.
milk, Matthew
to be specific.
built, and it's like 25 pages of
Yeah.
how to run the milk machine, which is, I mean, gosh, shoot, we should
People
publish that and
reference that
sell
all
it.
the time.
I reference it. Yeah. Even
So
when I forget.
But you know what's not helpful is when I was in labor with your child that I'm so sorry you had to be present for because it was such a traumatic or such like a boring experience for
that
you.
hurts.
But when I was in labor, Matthew was like leaned in really close and he was like, okay, now you're gonna push.
No, I didn't
Just
say that.
breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. And I wanted to murder you. And I think I told you that from that moment on, the only thing you could do was tell me I was beautiful and that I could
No.
breathe from here on out.
She
And Wayne
she
and I
basically
did
told
it.
me not to coach her in any way, shape, or form, and I was like,
Noted.
check.
Noted.
You're giving birth to my babies.
Which is-
You have the rule of the land.
Which is
Rachel didn't talk much. She said like 2 things to me. The other thing she
In
said
labor.
is, "We're never gonna do this again."
Yeah, I did.
She was like,
I did. I said, look, I said, I don't need help. Please, you may only tell me I'm beautiful. And 2, you're getting a vasectomy. We're never doing
Immediately.
this
In
again.
fact,
no,
schedule
while I
it
was
right
in
now.
labor, I said that. I was like, we are done. I am never
and I was
going
happy.
into labor again.
I was happy because that was a traumatic experience for me.
So, no. Okay, so here's the rest of that story.
Okay.
So when I go into labor with Bonsai, Matthew was with his older son, and so they were like having a date, and I was having hamburgers with our best friends, and I like start to feel like, oh gosh, I don't know, I don't feel good. And so Annie and Johnny, our best friends, were like, okay, well, let's go for a walk. So Annie and I go for a walk, and we start like timing contractions, and they're getting super close. And so we call my mom, and my mom is like, you guys like need to go to the hospital because this baby is coming. And so I call Matthew, who doesn't pick up his phone. He's like,
Of course.
doesn't pick up. So I call his brother, not you, his other brother, who happened to be staying with us at the time. And I was like, hey, do you know where Matthew is? Because I think I'm in labor. And he was like, oh, gosh, I don't know. I'll try to track him down. So, like, we go through a little bit more. Can't get a hold of Matthew. Finally, get a hold of Matthew. He comes, picks me up. We go into the hospital, which is like, I'm like definitely in labor at this point. And we're checking in at the desk. And this woman says to me, and I'm like doubled over, like in a contraction. And this woman says to me, she was like, wow, you're having a hard time. And Matthew was like, I know, it's like really hard for me. And that woman like wanted to.
She called me out. I don't know what her problem was.
She
I'm having
wanted
a really hard
It
time.
was really hard for him, for me to be in labor.
That's a good bit. That's a great bit.
So Matthew.
Oh, yeah.
It was
yeah.
stressful. Who knows what was gonna happen?
A baby was going to come out of my
That's
body.
stressful to think about.
You know, it's more stressful to experience.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. What if she was asking Matt and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. You're like, this is some BS.
Yeah. So anyway, they checked us in, and Bonsai like fell out of my body like 20 minutes later. It was quick.
Oh.
But it was, I mean, just let's let the record show it was really hard for Matthew.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad he got through it.
So anyway, these bison,
Yeah, these
there's
bison.
200 of them. Maybe it's more now because here's what I
I don't
noticed.
know how that's gonna work.
Here's my thing about Facebook, which I think is a problem, which I've told you guys, but I'm going to say it again. A lot of the articles that are shared on there are like 3-4 years old. And so we share stuff, and it's really, like I saw one the other day that was like all the major food producing companies are merging, and there's just going to be like 4 companies producing our food. Someone shared it like yesterday. It's like 4 years old. Like this news happened. Anyway, so this bison news is old. It's a year old at this point. But it's exciting because I think we already know that bison make really fruitful prairies. The way they graze, the way they poop, the way they move is really good for our earth and our soil. And I'm just like so pumped about this news because there used to be, and Matthew, you've done a lot of researching about this, and I wrote it down. There used to be 60 million bison roaming the earth.
Yeah, those are the estimates. No, in North America.
But then in 1889 there were less than 1,000. And why? You want to say why? I think this is so
I
fascinating.
don't know all the details of it, but I think I mean, there were people that were specifically going out and just getting guns, special kinds of guns, like some of the best guns of the time, and just murking.
Well, and here's the problem with
Buffalo.
bison is, which I didn't know.
Like they were trying to make them go extinct so that they had more rangeland for cows, for cattle.
So when bison are in a herd and you shoot one down, the other ones don't run.
Weird.
They just stay. Yeah, it's crazy.
So you can just
So
mow them down.
You could. What did that? Some guy from history. He killed like 6,000 or something in a day. Like it was
10,000 in
it
a
was
week.
insanity.
Jeez.
Because it's these like huge magical big creatures and
They're in the way of progress. So it was the Western movement of the U.S. populace, and they were getting in the way of that movement. There's a lot of reasons. They're also the heart and soul and all the food. They were the sustenance of many native tribes in those areas. So we were in a war. We were at war with the American Indian tribes at that time, and you know, it's an unfortunate thing. Like, it makes me really sad to think about it. But this is the problem with now. Like, there is no prairie. There's very little prairie left. So, like, what's going to happen when you have herds of buffalo running around farms?
So they're not in farms. So Indiana has been doing a prairie restoration project, and they're trying to bring back native prairie, which is why they introduced bison to that. It's not like they just set bison loose in Indiana and are like, good luck, farmers.
All I think about in Indiana is just farms.
That's what you think about. But
Yeah.
Indiana, and this was another reason this article made me so excited, is we tend to stereotype states as like against progress because Indiana produces a lot of corn and soy, right? But no, there's a huge pocket of people there that are all about restoring this prairie, and I think it's just such a cool lesson, especially for me, that you can't put states in boxes. You can't put people in boxes. Like, there's little pockets of greatness happening everywhere, and dang, those bison, that even though that article's old, it really made me happy.
Oh, yeah, they're beautiful. I hope that we can restore a lot of I think there's two main things that we can do as humans. One that we can do right away as humans, which is stop consuming so much. If everyone stopped consuming like luxury goods right away, the amount of detriment caused to our planet would just decrease so much. And then on top of that, have less kids. I'm not even telling you to have no kids. Just have less kids. And then on top of that, you could do other things. But those are the two main things that if everyone was to do that, the world would be a lot of better place.
What do you mean luxury goods?
Like...
You mean like people having 10 cars?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a small percentage of the population.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked, because
then
like
that's
luxury
not that
goods,
many people.
there's not that many people consuming luxury goods. There's a lot of people consuming like fast fashion. There's a lot of people buying
fast
$2
fashion
t-shirts.
is pretty hard on the planet.
But maybe also lots of disposable goods. If you can figure out
stuff.
a way that's, obviously if it's a financial thing, it's hard to not shop at maybe somewhere like Walmart or something. But if you can shop at a secondhand store, you can shop somewhere local that maybe...
And I just want to say thank you,
similar
Leo,
price.
because you only buy clothes at secondhand stores.
Not only, sometimes I'll buy like a pair of shoes that are new, or like obviously,
But rarely.
Yeah,
rarely.
most
I
of your
like
stuff is
going to secondhand stores because like treasure hunting.
It is a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is
Secondhand
fun,
stores are
yeah.
fun.
And it's weird. Like there's always weird.
There's way more of
people
a
and
story. There's
yeah.
the smell. I don't know if I like the smell, but
I don't think most people go there for the smell.
there's some weird smell at those places.
But it's fun though. It's more fun than like a department
It's a
store. I
treasure
feel
hunt for
weird in
sure.
department stores. I go into
Yeah.
department stores and everything just feels very sanitized,
Yeah.
and the people feel
Sterile.
like just
They're
Hollow.
they're high.
I don't connect
They're
with
all
them.
like they're all
just
like
saying
yeah, it is like they're high. They're getting a hit
just
of
give
like.
me they're like looking
Yeah.
for their next hit. They're looking for their
The main
next
thing is it's a lot cheaper.
You're talking about finding that high from shopping.
Yeah, any
lot
type
of-
of shopping.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the Joneses,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like buy like just that whole mentality
yeah.
of like I need to have more, I need to have bigger,
Yeah.
smaller houses, less heating,
So
less electricity.
also, I mean, part of this to succeed, right? Like if you're going to shop at thrift stores, I think you have to be able to repair clothes. Being able to
Oh yeah,
repair
that's a good point.
things,
Yeah.
because a lot of
oh, yeah.
those maybe they Matthew has on his Pendleton. I bought
For all
used
those listeners who
So
are actually
used-
just listening and not watching.
used Pendleton, had a hole in it, and now it has this bomb ass patch. So
Rachel tried to make a
Yeah.
patch, but it took her mom, Linnea,
I know. So
to
I
make this
tried
really good patch.
And so, but this is, you got to try, right? So I tried, my first patch failed, but then my mom, who's an expert seamstress and quilter and everything, she did it right. But I learned from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to pass those skills along, right?
Yeah, I don't think most people have those skills, though, let's be honest.
I know, but we should be teaching those. We should. Do they
Sure.
still have home ec in high school?
Yes.
I mean, I haven't been in high school. Don't ask me. I'm not that young
Well,
anymore.
I know, but aren't you? But I mean,
Yeah,
you
we
work
had home
at
ec.
SPSCC, so there's
Oh.
Yes,
schoolers
they
there.
still have home ec. I
Do they have home
guarantee
ec
they
there?
still have home ec.
I
Yes,
think
they
so.
still have home ec.
You know what they should have that they don't have? Maybe some places do. They need a life skills class for how to change a tire, how to jump a car, how to siphon gas.
The problem
from a
is those
car,
don't do
how to.
career, right?
Yeah, but they make us really good humans. How
Yeah.
to sew, how to. Not even like the cooking thing, because
Yeah.
I
I
feel
swear
like
I-
the cooking thing you can figure out.
With history, did everyone just learn about the American Revolution like 20 times?
Is that what you remember?
Yeah.
No, I had
Just
a
like-
super
Mostly.
progressive history teacher.
The Boston Tea Party, and like I just friggin' learned about the same section over and over again. I'm like, okay, cool. This is how America became America.
So a
Yay.
lot of that, because when we went to school, we're not even that old, but a lot of, and it still is, but I feel like we're doing better. But I mean, history's always been whitewashed, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
And
that's
man-washed.
something,
Yeah.
and man washed, yeah.
Well, and it majority washed. Whoever is the majority
Yeah.
has washed it. In Asia,
Yeah.
you can bet your ass that the Chinese and the Japanese
Our number one.
washed all that with Japanese heritage. I mean,
Right.
what they've done to other cultures, the Japanese, insane.
Yeah.
So any majority has
Yeah.
washed their history.
What they're still doing in China, I mean,
Yeah. Well,
it's horrid. It's horrific.
anyway. The
I
majority
think-
always tells the story.
I think there should be a life skills class, mandatory for all high schoolers.
Yeah.
How to do your dang taxes.
In this queendom,
That's a big
let it
one.
be done.
Ugh,
Yeah.
please, preach. Preach, my
Yes,
husband.
yes, queen, yes.
Okay.
What are we at?
55.
Oh,
Oh.
gosh, time flies when you're having fun. Let's wrap it up.
Oh, and we'll let you know next week if we passed our electrical inspection.
Yeah, we're
That's
waiting.
Happening anytime.
Any second now, the electrical inspector is going to come down
What's his
our
name?
road.
Jim.
He's going to hit 10 million
Every time the
potholes
inspector
on
comes,
his way
I'm
into the
like,
farm.
hey, it's Ted, right? No, Bob. I'm like, oh fuck, one syllable, whatever. Jim? No, Mike. Who cares?
Wow, you're
They're
really
both one syllable.
That's not their name, you
Okay,
weirdo.
Matt.
Yeah, your
You
name is
friggin'
Matt. What an odd thing to be all riled up about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
don't
what?
even
You're
correct
like-
me. If
you're
it's
like-
one syllable and I
Dude,
say one
you're-
syllable, you can at
you're-
least what?
It's his
I didn't know you were
name.
prejudiced against one syllable
Yeah.
names.
Oh, apparently your name is one syllable.
If
It
it's
could
one-
be
Actually, I'm
anything.
prejudiced a bit against many syllable names
As well.
as well. But what I'm really prejudiced
So 2 or
about is
3.
like, come on, I pretty much got your name right.
No, you did
didn't.
not.
No.
Bob
but you know
and
what?
Jim.
This is
Bob,
so,
Jim, Tim.
Mike.
This is so Matthew.
Tim and
He's-
Jim's close.
You names are just like it's not who you see people as. You don't see them as
Yeah.
Yeah,
their
I see
name.
their essence.
No, he sees them as just blobs merging into each other. There's no stop and start.
Amoebas.
We're
in
all
in
one,
a
right,
petri
man?
dish.
Yeah.
We're all one, man.
Well,
That's-
that's what you're saying. Like your name doesn't matter.
No, I believe.
Yeah, but the-
I believe in names. I believe in full names. If you really want me to remember your name, then tell me your full
Oh
name.
yeah,
Beginning, middle, end.
right.
Okay.
That's why I always
You
introduce
can't
my
remember
son's name.
one name, let
Catherine
alone
Bonzai Teller.
3 names. Yeah, you can remember your son's name sometimes,
Yeah, and you call him by other names a lot too.
all the time.
Yeah,
But I think that's a term.
Wow, I don't know how I feel about this. You're prejudiced against one
One
syllable.
syllable.
I mean, I tell people my name's Matt, but my name's Matthew, so I'm not that prejudiced. I'm not prejudiced against that. I'm just prejudiced about the. You know what? It's just hard for me to remember Jim.
So
Tim,
someone was like,
Ted,
"Oh, hey, Scott,"
Tad.
and you're like,
You just don't care.
"Yeah, you don't care."
That's the main thing.
But you know what? I kind of get that because I had a teacher for 3 years in college. I took his class 3 years in a row. He called me Rebecca.
You
The
look
whole-
like a Rebecca.
Yeah, I
whole
could see you
3
being a
years.
Rebecca, actually.
I never corrected him.
Good for you.
I mean, grading must have been weird because he like got to a syllabus
Who's
and there's
this
like
Rachael
there's no
character?
Rebecca on his like.
But she's doing a really
roster.
good job.
He's like, I'll just give Rebecca's grade to this
he like
Rachael.
pulls you aside. Rebecca, you're not turning anything
Yeah,
in.
Rebecca, what the heck?
You probably
Anyway,
would've got a better
failing
grade.
my class.
I was just like, I would go in his class and I was like,
Let's
I'm
be
Rebecca
honest.
now.
What
What
school?
is Rebecca like?
This was in Air Force Academy.
that's the Air Force Academy.
Yeah, you're not allowed to correct people. You probably would have
Yeah.
had to do push-ups. So you're like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name
Yes,
is
sir.
Rebecca.
Did you say yes, sir, to your professors?
Well, he wasn't a military professor. He was a civilian.
So
teaching.
what did you? How do you address?
I mean, I
them?
still called him sir
Mm.
because I'm polite.
The only problem is, in court, sometimes you call the judge sir.
Yeah,
And
in
you're supposed
court,
to say your honor.
because I'm
Sir,
like
Your Honor.
chronically in court.
Sir Honor.
Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Your honor.
I did. So one thing they teach you at the Air Force Academy is when you're a basic cadet, there's 7 responses that you're allowed to use. Yes, sir. No, sir. Sir, I do not know. Sir, may I ask a question? Gosh, I can't even remember. But so the only correct answer for a basic cadet or a freshman at the Air Force Academy, the only correct answer to a why question is no excuse, sir. There is no other correct answer.
Oh, like if they ask why you don't know something.
Why'd you do that? No, excuse, sir. Why is this like this? No excuse, sir.
Yeah.
So I was in court, and the judge was like, "Why did this happen?" And I just froze. I was like, "No,
No
excuse, sir."
Yeah. Okay, when it comes,
You
Rachel.
just went fucking Manchurian candidate. No
Yeah.
excuse, sir.
That's how Rachel is when she's in
I
any
stand at
situation
attention.
with any guy in like any like potential power dynamic
Yeah.
shift. She like goes into this
Breeze.
cadet form, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah. And you know what?
I'm
I
just
do
like,
have to
yeah.
say, it
God.
did make me very happy when you told me. You were like, "I hate seeing you in those situations because I hate seeing you so like
Submissive.
submissive." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yes, I married the right man."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's not submissive.
Even though
In
he
general.
only gets my
Yeah.
name right
Yeah.
half the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's just Matt.
But we're changing that. Like, we're stopping that with our daughter. Like, our daughter is a boss.
Unless
and-
she joins the military, in which case she will learn her place.
Well, I mean, I've always had a
But
fear
that's
of
for
authority.
everyone.
I
Yeah.
was born with a, like, really strong fear of authority.
Yeah.
Which, she might have, too, because
She
I
has a
always
little
say,
bit.
like, come on,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. And even as a baby, she was like, I don't want to get in any trouble.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'll try to get her to, like, tell a fib, and she's just like, no,
Yeah.
I can't.
I can't.
Whereas Bonsai's like, yo, dog.
Yeah.
I
It's
know,
like-
I know,
Give me
he's
the
like,
candy. I don't
Boom,
care.
I'm down.
Yeah, what's we need to
You
do?
want to keep a secret? I like secrets. I have like a million secrets.
Yeah, he'll be like, I'm going to tell mom
Cool.
and dad.
Lock it up, throw it away.
Yeah, we can watch a show. I won't say nothing.
That is
Bonsai's
awesome.
hilarious.
He is,
He'll tell a lie for sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Uh,
even believe it's a lie.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't
Yeah.
even process.
He's not.
He's just like, does it give me what I want? Let's do it. I'll do it twice.
Oh,
He,
so
like this
weird.
morning, he told Sherry that he needed to. His feet were cold, so he needed to go put socks on. And then he's like, "I'm gonna go over here,
Yeah.
and sneak into bed with mom." And
Really?
he just
He
like
just crawled
sticks
into
his,
bed with
and he
me.
whispered the whole thing the whole time.
Nice.
And then he sticks his feet right on, like in between your legs or like
Yeah,
on your
'cause
belly.
I was so
just like these icicles, just like whoosh, and you're just like,
yeah, he just needed to warm up.
Oh, good. That's so funny.
So
Yes.
what's making you happy this week?
well, that did. Bonsai, my son.
Your son makes you happy?
Thinking
Just
about
like,
him being a
Oh,
goof.
well, the big thing is I've somehow had more time to meditate and do like dreaming stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so Matthew is
Yeah.
going down the
Astral projection.
astral projection out of body experience. Which
Did
is
you
one
not
of
want to
the,
talk about
yeah,
it? Why do you give
which
that
is
look?
one of the books. He was like, "Do you want to
Well,
read it?" And I was like,
There
"Yeah,
goes
I can
any
do it."
farmer ever taking me seriously.
Yeah, but that's who you are. You can't help
I
it.
mean, you're intrigued by it. You're not necessarily like a a fanatical.
Well, he's not a
practicer
time
of
traveler
it,
yet. That's
Not yet.
true.
I'm working on it.
but you're intrigued. You've always been.
It's
intrigued.
all about my wife. I want to do what's right by my wife.
Okay.
Oh, because when we die, we want to be able to still talk to each other. Yeah.
I want to be able to guide her
Yeah.
through the next phase.
Oh, you
Yeah.
think that you're gonna be the one?
He thinks he's
You
gonna
think-
go first, but I think
Oh,
I am.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that's really sweet because that's one of these things that this guy does is he guides souls that are like disoriented. I don't know why you think I'm going to be
After death.
disoriented though. I'm going to
I
be
don't.
locked down on a mission.
Yeah, I think that you're right.
Yeah.
I don't.
You
think
should be
that.
worried about guiding your brother.
I won't be guided. I'll be going to the dark place, and I'll sleep happy. I'll
And
be
I'm
very happy
looking
there.
forward to
Actually,
the sleep.
that is a transitionary state.
Nope, that's
but
the
it
end
doesn't last
state, buddy.
forever.
Oh, you
You
betcha
wish.
it is.
You wish.
Oh, you think your ego lasts? No way. That's just your ego, bro.
So
Just
you're
your ego.
you're feeling good about more meditation time
Yep.
and
Bonsai.
bonsai and astral projection.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Wow, sure.
What's making you happy, Leo?
He's been working a lot. That's
Yeah,
what
I've been
he's
happy working as a part-time editor. Been
For
learning
who?
a lot of skills for Sky Bear.
Sky Bear,
Sky Bear Productions.
Shout out.
Sky Bear
So
Productions.
if anyone needs any productions
great
done,
film company.
Sky Bear. Yeah, they're downtown, local Olympia. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and then
And you're learning a lot,
learning a
which
lot.
is nice.
Yep.
And what's the name
that's
of
been
that
the
film
highlight.
that you're shooting right now?
Oh, Enter the Mind Dungeon. We're shooting like the promos
For all
it.
you
See if we
D&D
can
fans out
get
there,
it kickstarted. It's a mockumentary about people being addicted to Dungeons and Dragons, and then like experimental. What would it be called? Experimental
Mind therapy.
experimental therapies to try to fix them.
what is it called? D-odds?
AODS.
AODS.
AODDS.
AODS?
AODS.
What did your parents say when you told me you have AIDS?
Yeah.
I have AIDS?
The context. There's
AODS.
context to that
AODS.
joke.
It's Dungeons and Dragons syndrome.
Yeah,
though,
that's
basically.
fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed that a lot. I'm done.
Cool.
Nice.
I forgot what was making me happy for a second because I haven't done it yet
Because
today.
he slept in.
But I'm going. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I did sleep in.
I know it's making you
went back
happy.
to bed because Isadora has had this heinous cough the past 2 nights, and it's affected my sleep, not Matthew's, but mine.
We
And
already talked about it.
we've been awake a lot. So I got a little
Yeah.
2-hour nap from 8 to 10. I felt great, which is when Bonsai crawled back into bed with me. So I feel like $1,000,000 today, which is a good way to be going into kidding season. But we have been doing a lot more yoga, and we've been doing yoga with a purpose. For Annie's Christmas present 2 years ago, Johnny bought her this like actual 21-day yoga routine, and 2 years later we're
Boho
now doing
Beautiful.
it for the first
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Boho Beautiful, who I love. And we've been doing it, and God, I feel great. I feel my body is like coursing with life and energy, and my mood is like like I am
Yeah.
leveling up as
It's just
a,
crazy
as a
because your mood's
human.
already.
Well, now I am like
Yeah.
I am floating high, riding this like yoga trip. I mean, it
Yeah.
just feels so good. And Isadora and I made a commitment to each other that we're going to do yoga every day, and it feels so cool to have this like pact. She does it with me, and I don't know. It is literally making me happy. So,
Cool.
I'm pumped.
All right, this is Farming with Peacocks signing off.